Hey there, fellow amateur chemists. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to The Last Plague Blight. Episode 19, Disinfectant and Preservatives. Alright, so we're heading slightly into spoiler territory, but you guys say yes. So, I am going to make vinegar. So in order to make vinegar, I'm going to go forage up some wild berries. Heading back into the plains biome to make it a little bit easier on myself. The ideal base location wouldn't... Oh, God. That was a grizzly that I almost ran into. Yeah! Faces of death. The ideal location would probably be, like, the intersection of a bunch of different biomes so that getting to new biomes was fast. Meaning, like, rocky outcrop meets plains meets forest meets river with, like, a road running through. But, like, that is unrealistic as an expectation. Of course, you can always just keep generating a new map until you get that, like, perfect combination. It's entirely possible, because at the start of the game, you do have this map. It just doesn't happen often. Like, right here, you know, is, like, plains, rocky outcrop, forest with, like, a road nearby. I don't know. But there's no water there. So that, you know, you can have, like, 3 of 4, you know. But, here we are out in the plains collecting blueberry bushes. So the way the vinegar works is you can crush blueberries into jars and ferment the blueberry juice. Blueberry juice on its own only fulfills your hydration, so it's, like, not particularly useful because just drink water. It's a lot less effort. But vinegar is a useful crafting reagent. So we're gonna make pick a bunch of blueberries to make it into vinegar. It's too bad there's no apples, because I've never heard of blueberry vinegar. I'm sure it exists, but it is certainly not common. But apple cider vinegar? Yeah, no problem. I love apples. I love apple cider. I don't know off the top of my head how many blueberries I need, but I intend to make a whole damn jar of blueberries. So I'll collect a whole bunch. Yeah, this is same old shack full of planks. Do I also love vinegar? Not to drink well, no, I take that back. I eat a lot of Asian food. Like, I would say half the food I make, like, maybe 40% of the dinners I make are, like, Asian style in some way, where rice vinegar is a very common ingredient. So it's not that I, like, drink this stuff, but I sure cook with it a lot. Isn't blueberry vinegar expired blueberry wine? I guess, yeah, technically speaking. I just have never intentionally made it or drank it or interacted with it. Maybe I have enough blueberries. I'll hit one more bush, one more cluster of bushes or whatever. Also, I'll pick up valerian, because I've picked up, like, one of every other crop and not valerian. I already spoiled what valerian does. It makes you sleepy. But I might as well just have it to show you, so you don't have to take my word for it. Because I can be wrong. And usually when I am, I have ample YouTube comments pointing it out. Which is helpful, actually. Especially for games I play more than once. Yeah, there was milk thistle too. Milk thistle, at this day in the game's progression, is polluted enough that I wouldn't bother relying on it. Milk thistle's really good early game when you're, like, desperate for nutrition. But as the map becomes more polluted, it becomes less of a decent food source, unless you're growing it. But I don't have my shovel on me, so I can't grow it. Well, I can't dig it up and relocate it. Although, I could have harvested the seeds, so touche. Touche indeed. Oh, nope, stay away. Yeah, if I see milk thistle again, I'll grab it to cook with it. Big if, because it's a pretty uncommon plant. Dogbane, chamomile, even blueberries, they're all over. Milk thistle, not so much. Okay, I have enough blueberries. I'm running like a blueberry monopoly now. Oh, look at all this blight. Gross. Am I know where I am? Well, orientation lesson number 2. I am at a U-bend in the river. So I started off wandering around here. I walked west. A U-bend in the river. What direction is the U-bend? U-bend bends. So this is north. So it curves around east. I actually might not be able to spot this U-bend on the map because it's small enough. So the bend is an eastern loop. Oh, that's a grizzly. I gotta get away from that. So I'm here. I'm actually right here. So I need to head east to get home. I think that's where I am. So let's head east and see if I'm right. East, you know, straight into the grizzly bear. Leave me alone! Go away! So I'm hoping to make about 1 liter of vinegar out of this stuff. Nope, if this is the road, I was right in where I was. Yep. Yep. I get lost real easy, but I do orient myself real easy too. My sense of direction sucks, but my map reading is pretty good, in other words. So I'm probably along this section of the road here, and if I just keep going east, I'll hit the river. That will lead me back to my base. And here's the river, exactly as predicted. Have I passed up milk thistle? I don't think I've seen milk thistle since you guys mentioned it. Oh, so much for that experiment. Next time I see it, I'll grab it. But it's not something that typically grows in thick forest, so... I wish I was a good enough forager to be able to wander around a forest and just be like, ooh, yummy, and like pick mushrooms. I have a cousin that can do that. I'm jealous, but you know, it's an acquired skill that you need to know what you're doing or you're gonna die. So I know well enough that if I did that, I would die. Oh, the letter's here. So that's the crow that just fluttered off, dropped off the letter, so I'll read that in a minute. Or actually, I'll read that now before I do the vinegar thing. So here's the letter from Elric. The slime itself is very infectious, but distilling it seems to produce an essence that can be beneficial in countering the blight. We have uncovered 2 possible uses for this new substance. Combine toxic oleander leaves with distilled slime oil and set it ablaze. This can clear out the blight in a small area, but won't be able to cleanse larger infections at nearby villages. You can also mix slime oil with vinegar to create a primitive disinfectant for food. Submerge infected food in this liquid to remove some of the infection. Further, we think certain crystals could be combined in an alchemical process to further refine beneficial effects from the slime and blight. We would be grateful if you could source some real gar and blue vitriol for further experimentations. Blue vit is found within copper-rich rock, and Relgar in veins underground in caves. I've seen it before, I just didn't have a mining pick when I saw it. So, I'm going to make the vinegar, and the way to do this is to grab a jar, remove the lid, put it in your hands, right-click a berry, and just crush the berries into the jar. And then once you're done, put the lid in, and put the jar on the ground. That's it. It's just that simple. And each blueberry each blueberry is like 10 milliliters of vinegar, or juice. So do this 50 times, and we got a jar full. I obviously have way more blueberries than I need. Like, by like a factor of a lot. That's okay. Add lid. And place the jar... here. So if I right-click examine it, I can see that it's 0% fermented, and in 13 hours and 10 minutes, it will become vinegar. It is not my only jar, though. This fire is out in 8 minutes. Do I even have... Okay. I'm just gonna throw some sticks in for now. So I don't have to relight it. If I want to put a cap on this new jar, I need to grab my saw, which is, I think, in this box? Can you make dried fruit with blueberries? You can. And I can do that if you guys want. So I needed more firewood too, because the fire was nearly out. So I'm multitasking here. I'm gonna put this in the fire and then cut the next one into planks. The reason for planks is you make a lid with a... You use a chisel on your clay jar to make a lid. There we go. Oh, I had a short plank back here, but whatever. I only had the one. Put it in there. Yep. So... I think that's 50? Did I misclicked? Should I make dried blueberries? Or instead, I would start to distill the slime. I would build a copper still and distill the slime. Did I click this right? No, I was 5 short. Yeah, close enough. Add lid. And place. And I would suggest making 2 jars of vinegar. You don't have to, but that would be my suggestion. Anyway, all the same. Just from, let's say, personal experience. Alright, you guys want me to make dried blueberries. So, the way to do that, I have way more blueberries than I can reasonably dry, by the by. So I'm going to eat a whole bunch of them just to fill up my food, so they don't go to waste, because they're going to decay well before I can dry them all. The way to dry blueberries is to stick them in a jar filled mostly with salt. So for that, I need more jars. My clay's in the back, isn't it? So you guys want me to make dried blueberries? Cool. So, make preservation jars. And the same concept applies to anything prepared. So if you mouse over it and it says can be preserved, it means it can be like salted and yeah. So for that I need to make some soft clay jars. And I'm going to make, I guess, 2 soft clay jars. Or I'll do 3. I am definitely not going to have the salt for 3, but whatever, I'll make 3. Because I'll have the salt for 2, and then the third I can use in the stove. Or in the fireplace again. I'll go with 5 or 4 charcoal. It's probably more than I need, but I don't want to count it out, and I don't really care. Charcoal's easy enough to make. Oh, that's not where my kiln is. My kiln's literally right here. Okay, so those jars are firing. I'm gonna need a buttload of dandelions. Like, a buttload. I just don't even know how to explain to you the quantity of dandelions is gonna be obscene. I need to fill my inventory with dandelions, and even then, it's not gonna be enough. So, dandelion time. Is the fire okay? Yeah, the fire's okay. What are we making now? Preservation jars. Jars to preserve food. Just imagine a guy standing in the middle of the forest shoving a handful of blueberries in his mouth, calling it peak survival. I imagine like it's like purpley blue goo like running down my chest, going, I'm alive! And just looking like I'm a crazy, deranged derelict or something. Yeah, that's how I envision peak survival. Come on, dandelions. So how lost am I gonna get? Just going out for some dandelions. 100%? 80% lost? What do you guys think? I know where I am now, but that's not going to be true for very long. Yeah, the boars do look like bears. I feel like they did that intentionally just to jump scare you into non-complacence. Because if every boar was a bear, like, you would definitely be way more on edge all the time. But there's just enough boars and just enough bears to, like, screw with you. It's like the perfect combination of, you know, am I gonna die, or is that just, like, walking meat? Of course, you saw me fight the boar. It's not walking meat. They're pretty dangerous if you piss them off. And rightfully so. The cool thing about dandelions is because of their color, you can spot them well beyond vision radius. So, like, there's dandelions right there that I could see just because of the yellow, and there's dandelions over there too. So if you're keenly looking out for them, you can spot them a long way off. Where I find it harder to spot even like blueberry bushes because they definitely blend in more than dandelions. Like, that doesn't scream blueberry bush to me from a distance. Like, I can tell, but it's not easy to spot. Whereas from here, dandelion's right there. Right? It's just not too bad. It would be cool, however, if there was like salt veins or something in caves, so that because the other way to get dandelion or to get salt is to dry out. Oh, and you know, I could actually grab the salt from my soaking basin, because I'm not really tanning with it right now. And that would save me some effort. Oh, speaking of bears, there's a grizzly right over there. And hey, milk thistle. Because you guys wanted me to collect milk thistle seeds. Some nasty salt from the soaking basin? I mean, you're not wrong. It would be toxic as hell IRL. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I wouldn't even go near it without a mask. Some of the nastiest chemicals that had been produced prior to the age of oil was like from tanneries. In fact, I grew up in the Northeast, and the groundwater in the Northeast is still somewhat polluted from tannery chemicals from like 100+ years ago. That's how bad that crap was. So bad. Hey, look, I'm in the same exact spot I was last time when I was like, where the hell am I? Convenient. Alright, I'm gonna start working my way back. I've got plenty of dandelions. Oh, look at my time remaining. Just a few minutes. I won't leave you guys hanging. I think a really good milestone to hit as an ending spot would be to at least craft the distilling liquid that Elric mentioned. At least there's no big cats in this game? Yeah, that would be scary. Or realistic bears would be pretty scary. Oh, I grew up in Massachusetts. But I lived a long time in Maine as well. But I've lived all over at this point. Alright. Orientation time. I kind of enjoy getting lost, just so I could be like, alright, here's where oh, let's not walk into the coyote. So we've got a east-west road that goes north. I'm probably in one of these steps. Meaning if I go east-southeast a little bit, this way, I'll see a river, which then leads to my base. So my base is right over there. I'm not lost, I'm just disoriented occasionally. I think that's a very useful differentiation to make. Is that I can wander around a lot, but it doesn't take much for me to figure out where I am on the map, given the local geography, to then find home without too much issue. I'm not lost, I'm pathfinding. Yeah, exactly. I am charting a new course. I am a pioneer, not a wanderer. And the proof is in the pudding. As soon as I figured out exactly where I was, I ran almost as the crow flies straight home. There wasn't any like, oh, I'm kind of in this area. It was like, nope, home's that way. There she blows. Alright, the Great Dandelioning. I can only do batches of 30 at a time, which is good, because otherwise it will take forever. Let's get the bowl. And 600 milligrams of salt. Or whatever, I think it's milligrams, right? Here's my jars, and I need stoppers for at least 2 of them. So the idea behind preservation jars is you grab a bunch of salt, and I'm also going to grab my tannery salts, because I'm impatient. You grab one of these jars in your main hand, or whatever, add a lid, and then you can see it's like a container. You fill the container with salt, and the ideal amount of salt is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It's like a kilogram of salt. You place this thing on the ground. I'll place it whatever, I'll place it here. I don't have a good spot for it. And then you can put food in it, and the food will become preserved. So these blueberries here are getting preserved at 100% efficiency. So like cooked meat is a 2x2 slot, so you can do like 1 cooked piece of meat at a time, or like 4 stacks of sausages or blueberries. And then at the end of this will become dried blueberries, where their hydrating benefits disappear, and instead they become dehydrating, but they keep a lot longer as a result. And if you have, if you don't have a lot of salt, because I ran out, you can still technically preserve things, but like not kind of faster than it decays. So here is the same benefit, where there's so little salt, I don't even think it's registering as like a food preservation thing. It's just like, oh, cool. Yeah, so that's how to preserve food. That's food preservation jars. And once I cook up more of these dandelions, I'll have 2 jars of salt and 2 jars of vinegar. So the vinegar will be done in 9 hours. So what I'm going to work on in the meantime is a still, once I'm done with the preservation jars. I doubt I could get a gram of salt out of a dandelion. I've never done this before. I mean, I wonder what's the best method to get salt out of plants? Maybe it is dandelion root. Okay, staring at that is not productive. So, in order to make the still, let's go to the journal here. Or actually, the best way... Well, here, I'll go backwards like this. So, items. In the catalog. Or, maybe the easiest way to do this would be... Trying to think of the best way to look up the recipe. Might be through items going to the distill. Where's the... No? Okay. Then in like this. Wow. Oh, it's a structure, that's why. Okay. Fine. It's what? Distillation? There. Copper alembic. So the way to make a copper alembic is you have to make the retort and the cucurbit. And this is made of copper sheets, and copper sheets are made of hardened copper. Hardened copper that has been re-softened. So the best way to make hardened copper is to just fill a crucible with copper and let it cool. So I'm going to do just that. Each one of these is... I'll just make a whole... You know what? Do the whole damn thing. I don't really care. Sounds like the dandelions are ready for second batch. Oh wow, I almost perfectly collected as much as I needed for 2 full batches. But there we go. Now that you're starting to see the food preservation effect kick in, given that I have enough salt in there. And after this next batch of dandelions, I'll be able to fill both jars. Boil that ocean water? Yeah, I don't live near the ocean now. If I did, that's what I'd be doing. Oh, enemies nearby? Hello, wolf. Piss off, or you die. I'm locking my, like, twig gate as if that's somehow gonna protect me. Honestly, you're slowing my time down, dude. My time dilation doesn't work when you're in my yard. Go away. Alright, it went away. So the crucible can only handle 1,000 milligrams or a liter of liquid or whatever. So I can only do this much copper in a go. So I'll just fill the whole damn thing with copper. I forget how much the process takes, but I don't care. I'm just going overboard. 4... Let's do 4 charcoal, I think is all it will take. Leaves. Twigs. Oops. Twigs. And now, I'm going to update the priority. Make preservation jars and an lembic. If I spelled it right. I don't care or know or care. Okay, yep, I got it right. And in this case, once it's hot enough to smelt, I just want to leave it there to cool. I actually want it to not be liquid. I don't want it to re-solidify within the crucible and become hardened steel that I can then warm up and hammer into sheets. I hope it doesn't require a legit hammer. I hope that my, like, piece of flint will work. I didn't check. Worst case scenario, I just run a bloomery run and make an actual hammer. In fact, why don't I do that right now? I got the charcoal. I literally have a bloomery full. There's not a reason not to do that. Alright, so we're going to have iron blooms and hardened copper. As I said, there's just no way I'm going to be able to process all these blueberries in time. Plus, these blueberries are wild blueberries, not homegrown blueberries. My homegrown blueberries aren't polluted. These wild blueberries are polluting the hell out of me. I can cure myself with the mushrooms that I'm growing. Thank you for tuning in to The Last Plague Blight, which will really stream live on Twitch October 19th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below, but please keep in mind that I'm trying to avoid spoilers to not ruin this game for others. So if you could avoid spoilers, that would be great. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Blight survivors.